coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. 2018 is the year of celebration for Maverick School in Swift Current, as it marks its 25th anniversary. These shining stars of tomorrow had a chance to learn more about football and hone their skills during the pass, punt, and kick event in Swift Current. Swift Current Kiwanis Club members and other volunteers recently went door-to-door during the 87th annual Apple Drive. Thanks for joining us here today. Maverick School in Swift Current has grown from its humble beginnings and has now reached a milestone here in Swift Current. 2018 is the year of celebration for Maverick School in Swift Current, as it marks its 25th anniversary. Former teachers, students, and other special guests recently attended the afternoon celebration, which was filled with reflections of the early days, entertainment by students, and tours of the facility. Steve Small was the first teacher and principal of Maverick School, and says the concept grew from the determination of several individuals in the community.
People like Colleen McBain and Vernalyn Nipfel and Ardell Gorman, and then both school divisions, both the Prairie West School Division and the Swift Current School Division got together to create some ideas about how they could create a school, a small alternative school that would meet the needs of some students that weren't being met outside of that. So it was basically 4 or 5 administrators and 3 teachers in this area that created the idea and then pushed until the money surfaced and away we went.
And the school has grown over the years from its initial 12 students in a classroom over the PharmaSafe Plaza to a space at 4th Avenue Northwest, and finally its new home on 6th Avenue Southeast in 2016. An educational facility which stands out from other schools in the province, and one which Principal Jane Nicholson is proud to be a part of.
Our kids think outside the box. They require flexibility in order to meet their life goals. Many are parents, or they're working, or for some reason other than that, attending school part-time. Our students wanted a place where they had a voice, and Maverick gives them that. We are a totally student-driven school. Here, the students really do make all the rules.
Maverick's home-like atmosphere, where all students and staff are a family, is a welcome alternative for its students, who've not only seen an improvement in their grades, but also their overall self-worth.
I was struggling at the comp a lot, facing bullying every day, so it finally got to the point I punched out my bully, and I got kicked out of the comp, so Maverick was really my only other option. I absolutely love it here. I enjoy coming to school, and I feel safe, whereas at my other school I didn't. I love being able to work independently and work at my own pace. The teachers are here to listen and to care about the students.
I think here it's more everybody's closer. You don't, with other schools there's more rivals between say people with more money and people with lesser money, and here it's just everybody kind of gets along.
And through its annual coffee house evening each May, the community gets to learn more about Maverick School while shining the spotlight on its fine arts program.
So we hire musicians to come in and work with our students one-on-one. We bring artists in from throughout the province and sometimes out of province to do visual art and sometimes dramatic arts as well.
Maverick School has a current enrollment of 62 students, with a graduating class of 25 in the previous school year. Swift Current Minor Football hosted a special skills competition, bringing in participants from across the region. These shining stars of tomorrow had a chance to learn more about football and hone their skills during the pass, punt, and kick event in Swift Current. The afternoon session, hosted by Football Saskatchewan, is an annual program which visits communities across the province, with Swift Current Minor Football hosting the Southwest Regional event for the 2nd year in a row.
Well, we have pass, punt, and kick, and it's for basically the 8 and under category right through 14 and under. So 4 different categories involved within the 3 competition areas. And so we would have had today probably about 35, 40 kids somewhere in that ballpark. And so, good turnout in all of those areas. You get the older age group and the younger age group, there aren't as many, but in those 10 and unders and 12 and unders, there's lots of competitors, which is good. They're excited about it, and there's some pretty good talent actually in that area in the 3 competition levels.
And as each of these participants had their shot at passing, punting, and kicking the ball, they were not only hoping to get the top score for the day in their category, but also improve on a few areas in the sport.
How to throw it straighter and get it right on the line.
Is it hard to do that?
Yeah.
What's harder, to keep it straight or throw the spiral?
To keep it straight.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good competition. Yeah. Well, James got 104 feet and I got 103 feet, which kind of took me off because it's so close to tying it and I wanted to go again.
A big highlight of the day was meeting Brett Lowther and Josh Bartell of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who passed out a few rider mementos and signed autographs. An outreach to the community, which Lowther was glad to be a part of.
I mean, it's everything really. I remember being a younger kid and going to football or hockey events, and it means so much to you at that age, and they're the ones coming up through and the future generation. So, I mean, it's super important to get these kids out here and doing things like this, and if us being here helps them have a little more fun, then I don't know why we wouldn't be.
Participants with the top scores from the Swift Current event will now vie for a spot among 24 provincial winners, who will be invited out to the final Rider home game of the season, when they'll receive their plaques of recognition for the pass, punt, and kick program.
Hi, I'm Louise Cook. I'm a landscape painter and my association is with Art Placement in Saskatoon. I tend to like rural landscape and edges of things, edges of farms, edges of the road, edge of a creek, edge of the horizon, that kind of thing. That's what I look at first. I usually take a watercolor kit with me when I'm traveling, some sort of a sketchbook. So I sort of document that way as I go along, bring things back to the studio, and in the studio it's large oil paintings, larger oil paintings than the little one here. It is from a provincial park. I talked about edges, that I'm always interested in edges, and that is a good example of edges. You have a calm sky, you have a little bit more activity in a lake or the water, and then comes the edge. And the edge is the land, and it has to do with the complications of what lives and what grows and what sort of exists right beside the water edge in a provincial park. I'm very interested in the natural world and botany and that kind of thing. They're mostly fireweed, dogwood, red dogwood, but the other one is Phragmites. And Phragmites is somewhat of an invasive species, but it's beautiful to look at. It's wonderful. It moves in the wind, and that's why I painted it. So it's quite complicated, one side, and the other side is more calm. A lot of artists are sort of maintained at a certain price level. But like anything else, there's popularity in there, and there's appreciation, and there's also good press. And people are drawn to things that they think that is important, and other people think that is important, and we're all put together that way. I like where I am right now. It's something that's a collaboration between the artist and the art dealer. and they're very good at setting that kind of value. I mean, they do assessments of estates, all sorts of things like that, so they know exactly where things of a particular artist fit. Art in many ways is something that it moves throughout the decades. Sometimes it's modern art, sometimes it's more of a realistic bend, sometimes it's landscape, sometimes it's anything but landscape. So these things sort of have their life and then they move on. But hopefully I have experienced that certain things of a certain value maintain their value, and it moves along with you.
It's a sure sign of autumn when volunteers go door to door with the annual Kiwanis Apple Drive.
Okay, I'll take a half a box.
And which kind would you like?
Gala.
Perfect, half a box of Gala.
Swift Current Kiwanis Club members and other volunteers recently went door to door during the 87th annual Apple Drive. One by one, volunteers met local residents with a smile and a bag or case of Gala and Macintosh apples. An event which Kiwanis member Curtis Newton says he looks forward to each year and has now become a family tradition.
Yeah, it's one of our biggest fundraisers, and all that money goes directly back into the community. I think being out here with my kids, showing the kids that there's things that we can do as members of the community to help everybody out and give back to the community that we love.
The annual Kiwanis Apple Drive in Swift Current is held each October, with proceeds going towards various community projects. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.